And a 5, a 6, a 5, 6, 7, 8. Which of the Pickwick triplets did it?
Who of the crew would commit this crime?
Mighty little brat, make a mommy go splat.
It's a story pretty great for a nursery rhyme.
Yes.
Woo! Yeah. Woo.
Oh, we're such losers, man. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the podcast. I am Jade.
And I am Erica. And this is Perfectly Marvelous, a podcast dedicated to the hit Hulu show Only Murders in the Building.
Yes. And today we are reviewing season 3, episode 8, Sitzprobe. And we're going to go full Jerica, and the Kara will be
Yes.
silent this week because our baby is under the weather and we miss her dearly. Sadly, we are not doing the same thing as the trio. We're not getting the band back together this episode. We're so incomplete. But Kara's going to get better soon, and she'll be with us on the next one.
Yes.
So, as usual, we're going to go through the events in order, comment on everything. And part 2, the whodunit theories, will be on YouTube. So when you go watch that, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've got a ton of new subscribers, and it makes me so happy. Thank you so much. Keep doing it. You're doing your job, and I love it. And if you'd like to listen to the full podcast, all of the links for that will be in the description. We're on all the podcast platforms. You can find us everywhere. And of course, to watch the full video, simply go to patreon.com/perfectlymarvelouspodcast and sign up to be one of our most marvelous members. And shout out to all of our marvelous patrons: Gail, Lisa, Kimberly, Melanie, Liz, Kathy, Melissa, Jane, Katrina, Tarika, and our newest member, Eli. Welcome. We've got a new member. It's so exciting. Oh, that made my morning when I woke up and saw that we had a new patron. Oh, I got so excited. So yeah,
Thank
and
you.
just so you all know, I feel like, I've never really explained like how the episodes on Patreon, the full videos are a little different. They're a little longer even than the podcasts because I keep in all of the like silly tangents and shenanigans that we go off on. Like there was one time Kara talked a really long time about a hilarious like tangent about a raccoon or a squirrel. I think it was, I can't remember, but stuff like that I take out of the podcast usually. And it's just a little sillier. It's a little nonsensical. So if you enjoy those kinds of things, like those crazy ass motherfuckers who pay us to listen to that, if you want to be one of them, all you got to do is sign up to be a patron and you can hear it all uncensored. So yes. Let's get it going on. Let's get into this episode. Tits up, lady.
Tits up. Woo.
Pull up my I'm wearing my tie-dye
It's a very
crop
cute
top. Yeah, I thought it was appropriate. It keeps slipping down, so I kind of look naked on YouTube now.
No. You look super cute.
Can't have that.
You're tie-dye Jade, not tie-dye guy.
Yeah, there you go. Tie-dye Jade. Yeah, if you want to see the nude podcast, you really have to pay extra for that one.
Ooh.
That's a separate tier on Patreon where we podcast in the nude.
Oh my goodness. You've got like lots of crotches behind your head. You got, naked babies. You got Tom Petty. It's great. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, I'm at my parents' really super cool house right now. And okay, listeners, before we get into it, I'm at my parents' house in Florida, my bestie's house. I'm having so much fun, but it's not exactly podcast friendly. The acoustics are, we need acoustics, as Oliver
You need to be in
would
a
say.
closet right now, right? You need
I
to go
need
find
to be in a closet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a closet here, but the sound is actually worse because the air conditioning goes right into it and everywhere else is super echoey. So I apologize. I hope I can make the sound okay. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can see a really fucking cool background. My parents are like low-key rock stars. Look at this wall. Their pool table room. So I'm podcasting on
dying. I just want to listen to music right now.
It's really cool. Yeah, I'm podcasting on top of a pool table.
That's amazing.
And it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a cool setup. So you have bad acoustics, but you have really cool eye candy. I wish I could take this backdrop with me everywhere I go and podcast with it. So let us get into theories because I cannot contain myself anymore. It's like every time that we podcast now, we're like, we just want to get into theories right away.
I know. And I start talking about them earlier. I can't.
Oh, no, it's fine. We'll kind of backtrack a little bit. So let's go through the suspects, as in Tim Curry would say, one by one. So let's start with Dickie, okay? Because like you're saying, it seems like it's not Dickie unless he is the double bluff. I still feel like he's hiding something, but I don't think he's the murderer. I think that this was the point, like Kara and I were saying, that we are supposed to suspect, we are supposed to see Loretta get the wrong information and think, okay, for sure it's him. I got to throw myself under the bus. I think that that's all that there is going to be to Dickie, because if he was the murderer, like I said, unless he's the double bluff, because I thought it was going to be Loretta. I was totally wrong about that. Loretta ain't the killer. I'm bummed
No,
a little,
that's
but
okay.
we got some amazing Meryl Streep kind of,
Hey, it maybe your like psychic connection, you knew she was going to confess to a murder. So there you go.
Oh, well,
There you go.
both, yeah, Karen, that's what Karen and I were saying. We were like, we know that she's going to, well, okay.
Be
So first of
involved
all,
somehow, but maybe
right,
not
as
have with her hands. Yeah.
the caretaker of Dickie, or I was saying aunt, and Kara
That's
was like
okay.
mother, mother, mother. And as soon as I was 2 minutes into this episode, and I was like, well, shit, wrong,
It's
Jade.
okay.
And then it turns out Dickie, and because I was saying Dickie knows that that's his aunt, and nope, he didn't know. So wrong
It's
on both
okay.
counts, Jade. I'm great.
It's okay. It's okay. Look,
I was bummed.
they don't give us enough information. They throw a lot of things out there, but they don't give enough.
So congratulations, Kara, baby. You were correct.
Yay.
I know. I wish she could be here to celebrate in
I know.
her being rightness, because it's
I
very satisfying
know.
when you're right. Very gratifying.
I think she would be very humble. So I think she would
Yeah.
just go, she would like, okay, this is
Yeah.
great. I'm happy.
Yep. I was happy for Kara to be
Yeah,
so
me
correct, because
too. Me too.
she knew it before anyone else knew it. She had said
Well,
it like on episode 4 or something. She's like, I think that Loretta is Dickie's mother.
mhm.
She remember the baby elephant story episode. What was that? 3 or 4? She knew it right away. So bravo, baby. You did it.
Yay. Yeah.
So, okay, no, I don't think Dickie's the murderer unless this is the double bluff. I would love to see him be nefarious and actually be hiding something and be
Hmm.
lying through his teeth. I don't think that's where we're going, but hopefully. The one thing that I don't know about Dickie is he knows who was on that phone call, and that is very suspicious because so what I think is the reasoning behind his upset throwing the egg and holding the handkerchief and crying is because he feels bad for not protecting his brother from
Hmm.
the stalker or whoever, because he really thought it was Greg.
Hmm.
He tells Mabel. So I think that that's what the I'm so sorry, Ben is about.
Yeah, I agree. I
But
think you're right.
why buy the handkerchief just to hold on to it? It seems very odd, this buying of the handkerchief. That's the one thing that I just can't. I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't
It seems
know.
like you would buy it if it was evidence against you. I mean, do you really think he bought it just to have the one last thing that my brother was clutching when he died? That's so weird.
Well,
It's got his
I
bloody
don't
fingerprints.
know. I mean, think of it this way. Like he was selling his brother's possessions, and Uma, in all of her glory, comes in and says, "Hey, I got your brother's hanky. You want to buy it for 7 grand?"
That was a great Uma
Yeah,
impression, by the way.
and he and you know, and
Yes.
and then I mean, if I was so devastated from like this guilt and heart, and I have money, and like we know Dickie has money, he might want to take it because he take it than maybe somebody else. Like, because again, like he, even though like they kind of made a joke
True.
about it, like he was selling his brother's things, and he was saying like, I forget what he said exactly to Mabel,
Minimum
like,
bids.
yeah, like but he was like basically saying how disgusting and gross it is to kind of like like make money off of like his brother and whatever it was exactly. But maybe, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Like if I were Dickie, I might buy it because I'd be like, no, this is my brother's. I don't want you to have it, or I don't want anyone
That
else
is
to have it.
true.
So I don't know it, but I am curious because the fingerprints don't make sense. The blood doesn't really make sense in his hand. I also, after watching episode 1 again, the noise of him falling onto the elevator was not very loud. It almost just sounded like it stopped. Like, do you rewatched it? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of confusing, and I don't know if that was
It's
like accidental or maybe
it's
it's something else.
questionable that I'm assuming that was the moment that he fell and hit the elevator. Yeah, people are wondering what floor he fell from. I can't think that he fell from the penthouse if the
He would
thud
have
was so
crashed
small.
through,
Yeah. I mean, he did crash through in a
but it
second. Like it took a
but
minute,
it
but
it took a minute, but it was like,
yeah,
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I was looking at some of the things that Dickie said to Loretta. Like he said, Dickie, he had a fight with him, and Dickie was dead to him or something. Wasn't that what he said exactly when he was talking to Loretta? Like that's huge for them to have such a huge fight. And then, that there could be that part of that is part of his guilt. Like they had this horrible fight. They were never able to really reconcile. And then even when he came back from the dead, like Dickie looked really shifty. Like his eyes were like not like meaning anybody. He kept on looking. So I don't know what he was thinking about. And, you know,
It reminded me of what Uma said, that there are three kinds of people. There are alive, dead, and dead to me. And I'm so glad that when Bunny died, she wasn't dead to me.
yeah.
We were on good terms and not in like a fight. And it really makes you think. I was like, wow, that's
Mhm.
all too relatable to
Yep.
not, don't go to bed angry
Hmm.
because you just never know.
Call your friends if you're thinking of them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Just grudges are stupid.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, I'm not sure what Dickie knows, what he's holding in, but I feel like he's hiding something else. And I don't think he's the murderer, but there's something that he knows
Hmm.
it's something that he knows about Ben personally, that he probably covered up. I think that he was behind the toxicology report. I think that he covered up the whatever drugs were in Ben's system because he knew that Ben wouldn't want people to know he was taking the leading man cocktail or
Hmm.
whatever.
That makes sense.
So, and about the whole who wrote Death Rattle thing, now I'm thinking it's not Dickie, because I think that the thing that Dickie, I think I was sensing Dickie had been the cause of Ben's success in some big way. And I thought it was because he wrote the play that he was starring in. I think that sense was coming from him writing Cobro
Hmm.
and having, Ben take credit for it. But now I'm like, okay, so does that mean Cliff wrote the play? I just need this who wrote the play to be significant. I need this to go somewhere. Like we were saying, if this does not go somewhere, I will be pissed.
Yeah.
Need this loose end to be tied up, please. Tell me who wrote the freaking play.
Uh,
And the
it,
other loose
we need
end
to
is,
know.
yeah, the other loose end is what happened to Ben and Dickie's father. Because
Hmm.
Ben says he was supporting his mother and his brother. And when we see Loretta got the baby adopted, Dickie was adopted by a man and a woman. So there was a
Hmm.
father. And also, what about this creepy ass looking director guy who got
Right.
Loretta, who's Dickie's real father? Where's that guy? And why did they film him looking all creepy?
And we
So
know,
freaking creepy.
and we know that Loretta's father was a writer. And I'm trying to think if that has any tie-in to maybe how they knew Ben's dad and Dickie's dad, if there's any connection in there.
That's a good
It's
point.
because there's not a lot of talk about dads. Like it's more focused on the mothers.
Right, right. And what I was saying about the father thing when I was talking about King Herod being this abusive father in the biblical story of Salome,
Hmm.
that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, is this father thing significant? Is this mystery? There's, like you're saying, there's no talk of fathers. So
Hmm.
are these mystery dads gonna pop up and go somewhere? Or are we just sticking with mothers for this season and there's no dad and it's not acknowledged? I don't know.
Hmm. But
But
it makes sense at least with the fact that Ben had to support Dickie and his mom. Dad was not mentioned at all. So
yeah.
I think it might come into something.
Yeah, so Ben felt like he was the breadwinner, the man of
Hmm.
the house or whatever. Yeah. And then Dickie grew up and found his purpose in being Ben's keeper,
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah. So okay, Loretta. Not Loretta, cross her off the list. In my opinion, completely cross her off. This was
100%.
this was the big moment that we were all waiting for. The thing that I've heard people comment on online is this note in Loretta's book that is the handwriting thing. There's so much made about handwriting. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if any of this is significant, but people are saying, well, that note that Oliver found to compare the handwriting, well, was probably not written by Loretta. Maybe it was written by Dickie and it was something that she found that he wrote and she saved it. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Again, it could be the wrong handwriting because we were saying Ben probably didn't write those thank you notes for that
Hmm.
were with the hankies. So it's possible that it could be whoever wrote all these notes could have been Dickie. And then he
Right.
wrote fucking pig because all the notes do kind of look similar. I don't know. I think that the handwriting is like hard to tell. It's some letters. Yeah, when the murder brigade, the Scooby Doo brigade over here is going to catch on to like we should be looking at handwriting samples because Oliver was looking at it when it comes to Loretta's comparison.
Yeah, but not
But
everybody else.
so when it comes to this note in Loretta's book, I watched it back and I'm like, no, it's on her letterhead, but so it seems like it was written by her. But what's
Hmm.
also weird is that we see Loretta actually writing to Dickie. She's a cursive gal. She writes in
Right.
cursive. So
Right.
why would I mean it's possible that you would write in cursive if you're writing a personal, beautiful note to reveal to your son that you're the mother, that he's his long
Hmm.
lost parent. It's possible
Hmm.
that you would use cursive for special occasions and not for just jotting down a couple of people's names on a comp
Right.
ticket list. So I don't know. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that Dickie would be able to get a hold of Loretta's letterhead from however long ago. I mean, we don't know when that note was written. It could be pertaining. Oh no, there was a date on the note. It was from 2000 something.
Mm. Okay.
So it was an old
Yeah.
note. So yeah, it couldn't. I just don't think that it could have been Dickie's handwriting because people are saying that.
It wouldn't have made
But
sense because
also,
they didn't know each other back then. It
yeah,
looks,
yeah. This is
yeah.
pretty much confirmation that they just met on this
Hmm.
show.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if whose handwriting that is or if the handwriting is going to come into play at all. But make of it what you will. I can't tell if anything is. I think what the writers are just trying to do is make it look close enough that we could suspect it, but not so much that we could be like, oh, it's a perfect match, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and we all assume that the fucking pig message was written to Ben. I was just thinking, a thought popped into my head. Could it have been written to someone else? And then that thought didn't really go anywhere because I'm like, it's in Ben's dressing room. I don't know. But something about the fucking pig message really feels red herringy in the way that it's
Hmm.
not going to be what we think it is. It's not going to hold the significance of this is the murder, their handwriting.
Do you think possibly Cliff and Donna were trying to sabotage some things because they have money, so they could possibly be the ones that paid for Taubert. They could have KT working for them, and maybe somebody wrote that on there to kind of like they overheard that fight between Loretta and Ben and had them go in there and plant that just because it was so fresh in their heads. Like I feel like there's manipulation going on, and people will do that to kind of sway
Totally.
to get people to hate each other more. And
Yeah.
so I mean, I could see that. Um,
I could totally see
yeah.
Donna being the one who hired Taubert to do the documentary
Hmm.
because it would only hype up her show more. That's a
Hmm.
really good point. Yeah, I could totally
Yeah.
see that.
And I also, again, I was watching episode 1 again. And when he went up to Cliff and Donna, and we talked about this when we discussed episode 1, he calls Cliff boy. And
Right.
he's like, my name is Cliff. He's like, yeah, that's what I said. You know, like, but then called him boy again. And it's just like maybe she's protecting him and like, no one's gonna like, undermine my son or, speak down to him. It's just I feel like we're I don't want to say we're seeing things, but like you remember we were talking about the patter song and they like kind of looked right at the camera and then they shifted their gaze back and like put a little fake smile on their face that like they're like, wait, shit, this is really good. Maybe they thought it was gonna like be a nightmare and it would fail. And you know, that
Yes,
whole
I said it
about
and
the
didn't have
producers.
anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I remember episode 1, I think I said like, is this a producer's situation? Did the
Hmm.
producers do it? Because we've got producers all over this show. You know, Nathan Lane we
Hmm.
had last season and the season before, and Matthew Broderick this season. And these producers seem they seem pretty suspicious. It's definitely something that Ben didn't give Cliff any respect.
Hmm.
He called
I
him
I
boy,
yeah, I feel like
like overlooking him
this
and
is yeah,
making him
that
not a
like this is
thing.
and this is his big show. This is his first project that's his. Even though mommy is supporting him and funding it and everything, this is his baby. And like completely, disrespecting him in front of the entire cast was pretty disgusting. But going back to episode 1, like you said, Don and Cliff are going to make a meal out of this. Like that was mentioned. And then I thought about, and this is theory time for me, is that she mentioned somewhere, and I forget, I don't know if it was in this episode or that one, but like mentioned that this was the same theater as Splash, the musical. What if she was an investor and she's
Mm.
coming back for revenge or something?
Ooh, wow.
Like, I'm
Ooh.
just thinking 40
Mm.
years ago, when was Splash a musical? I don't know the dates, but I'm like, she's been in this business a long time. This is not her first, Broadway show. maybe there's some reason she's coming back. And we know that Splash, the musical, was a huge failure, lawsuits, people got hurt. It was a complete bomb in every way you could think of it. Like maybe that could be why she wanted it to fail.
And how many times has Donna said this show, I'm
Mhm.
hemorrhaging money. This is more expensive. A musical
Yep.
is costing me all this money. Like she has, I don't know if it's meant to be a clue to us that like this is her reasoning, it's money
Mhm.
that she's after, or if it's her putting it way too obviously out there and it's like a red herring kind of thing where we're all supposed to think it's about the money and it's about something
Mhm.
else. What you're saying about getting back at Oliver though, I'm like, whoo, whoo, that would be so nasty if this is
That
all a big
would.
revenge
It
plot for
could be.
Oliver.
It could
Poor
be
Oliver.
because,
Leave Oliver
well,
alone.
because like this is, if
Like Chris
anything,
Crocker right now.
I agree, but like if who is
Oh
this going to
no.
hurt more? It's going to hurt Oliver the most because
Most, yeah.
this is his dream. This is his life, and he's trying to redeem himself, and it just is crashing. And I mean, I don't know what her reaction was for him to have a heart. I don't know if she wants him to die, but I feel like that it just feels like there's something in there that, you
Yeah.
know,
So, okay,
yeah.
let's think about it this way. In Death Rattle, right? Someone killed the mother. We don't know
Mhm.
the plot of Death Rattle, but the nanny says she wants to protect the children. From what? From the mother? Like she wants to protect children at all costs. I don't think that the nanny's the killer, just like Loretta's not the killer. So
Mhm.
maybe she's saying, I want to protect these children from being looked at as they're please don't look at them as suspects. Like they're fucking babies. How are they gonna,
Mhm.
it's like an absurd plot that these three
Yeah.
babies are actually considered to be the murderers of their mother. But
Mhm.
there's a famous Agatha Christie. I think there's more than one. I think one or two. One of them is kind of like someone dies in a locked room and it doesn't make sense how the person died because no one was in there.
Mhm.
There's another one that kind of does the same thing a little different, but it is possible, right? It's not exactly Agatha Christie's best writing when she
Yeah.
does those things, but it is possible to like kill someone in a locked room. So are the babies really suspects or are they just being framed? Why did the mom die? We don't know, but there's a link to mothers, Donna, because she's the only mother that we get. Aside now we
Mhm.
have Loretta, but Donna's like the OG mom in this show. We know she's
Mhm.
Cliff's mom. And it was brought up on Instagram. I'll read the what the person said, but they said she because I keep saying that Donna's probably not Cliff's mother. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way. This is too weird. It's gross the way that they're making out. But she says that she has that line, I breastfed you up until you were 8 years old.
Ugh.
And it depends on when I mean, if you adopt a baby, you could, I guess, in theory, breastfeed them if
You
you already
can.
had a baby. So there's ways. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple ways, and even there's ways that it's like a tandem breastfeeding where you put like and people who have a hard time breastfeeding their children, it's like they fill them a milk container, or it's like a little container with either formula or breast milk, and they use this tube and they just kind of put it where the nipple is, and they can breastfeed. They're getting fed, but they're also doing that connection.
Right.
But I also like when you just reminded me, oh God, 8 years old. It's like child abuse. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's too old. That's too old. But it made me think of Game of Thrones. I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones, but there's a character there who I think breastfed her son until like that age too. And it's just like, oh, it's really disturbing. It's really, really disturbing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Because
questionable.
breastfeeding is beautiful. It's wonderful. I did it. My kids were like maybe 15 months old, and then too much biting. It was too much. Nope. We had to kind of like, wean that off. But it's like, yeah.
Hot takes. Oh my.
Hot takes from breastfeeding Erica.
I was not breastfed. My mom was
Yeah.
like, I couldn't do it. Like, I get you,
It's
man. I know I
okay.
would,
And
I
you
don't know
know
if I'd
what?
be able to
You're
either.
you're you're fed one way or another, but that's like it's like a very close connection. But yeah, you can do it even if you're not like the
So,
biological
okay.
mom.
So it's possible that she's still not his biological mom. And again, I don't know what this means. I don't think that it's a bummer again. I was again wrong because Cliff is probably not related to Dickie or Ben, which
We
is
don't
darn
know.
it. Yeah, we don't know. But I mean, obviously, I was thinking that that's if Cliff and Dickie were both adopted, maybe they were
Hmm.
brothers. They're clearly not
Oh
because
yeah, yeah,
obviously Loretta
yeah,
just had one child. So it's
yeah.
possible that Cliff could be related to Ben, but how would that I just don't think. I think I was wrong. I think I was wrong. It's
That's
okay.
okay.
I can
It
be
was
I
it
can
was
be
a
very
it was
wrong.
an awesome theory. I
It was
loved it.
overthinking, but I
It
wanted it
was
to be
fun.
something. I just have a hard time believing he's her real son because why are they
Hmm.
making out? It's just so random and weird.
It's
But
weird
okay,
and weird for this show. Like I agree with you. It's
yeah,
like
it's
it
just
doesn't. It's
why?
gross.
Why this thing? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay, this is the thing that I picked up on though in the Donna scene with Loretta in that bathroom. She
Hmm.
came out of the bathroom, she was throwing up, and she plays it off like, oh, nerves, opening night jitters,
I
and
didn't notice that. That was a
she
good
was,
pickup.
yeah, she was throwing up. I didn't notice it until this. I kind of was busy taking notes and I wasn't really watching the scene. But when I watched it the second time, she also adjusts her wig in the mirror and Loretta notices it and then goes like, looks away like, oh, I shouldn't have noticed you do that. You clearly don't
Hmm.
want people to know you're wearing a wig. So throwing up wig wearing in a woman over the age of 50, I'm thinking cancer. And
Mm.
she says that if I wouldn't have gotten through this production if it weren't for Cliff, he's the reason that this production has been hell to try to get off the ground and restart it. And Cliff's the only reason that I'm able to do it. So now it's kind of making sense to me why Cliff is the producer when he's got no skill to be a producer. She's
Hmm.
maybe trying to teach him how to do it so that he can carry it on after she dies. I don't know if I mean not saying that everyone with cancer is going to die, but
Right.
who knows? There's something and Cliff is very agile.
Hmm.
It's like a big thing with him is he's jumping up on tables, he's doing backflips
Flipping.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like that's got to
Just
go
dancing.
somewhere. I don't know
Hmm.
what this means, why this is significant, but it's too weird to not make a note of it. And I definitely think that Donna knew Maxine was going to write a bad review of the show because they have this moment of Maxine, evil Maxine. She's gotten us in the past and I have nightmares about her. They've been down this road with Maxine
Hmm.
writing bad reviews about their plays. So, and then another listener feedback thing, someone alerted me to the fact that DeMeo is Latin for falling or failing.
Hmm.
So Cliff's name is literally Cliff Falling.
That's
It's just a
really
little too
cool.
coincidental, but it's hidden. You wouldn't know that unless you,
No, I like that. That's kind of
yeah.
cool.
And okay, and then in Salome, not the biblical story that I was talking about last week, but the Oscar Wilde play that we see all the posters for in the theater, the mother is the one who tells Salome to request John the Baptist's head on a silver platter. It's the mother's influence over Salome that makes
Mm.
her cut off John the Baptist's head. I'm actually I can't remember if it's in the Oscar Wilde play or not. I think in the Oscar Wilde play it might have been Salome's own doing. Like she
Hmm.
has the agency to do that herself. But in other versions of Salome plays, the mother is a big influence over Salome. So maybe Donna is the one who put Cliff up to killing Ben, and that could be Cliff's handkerchief. Did Cliff and Donna get handkerchiefs? They probably did, right?
Hmm. They're the big bosses. Maybe.
So I don't know. Another thing that you were talking about, we can pretty much write Ty and Bobo off. Like when at this point it feels like a joke, right? For
Yeah,
Loretta to
it was hilarious.
yeah, for her to be like, well, I'm just gonna throw a name out there, Bobo.
Yeah.
And
KT.
KT, what a
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah.
It's kind of like these people are clearly just here so that we can have names and faces to
Hmm.
bring up when we need to throw suspicion off of ourselves. But we know nothing about Ty, and he plays the father in Death Rattle.
Hmm.
So maybe this is the connection to, like I was saying, the King Herod thing, being an abusive father. Maybe whoever killed the mother did it, or yeah, whoever killed the mother, like they did it to either protect the children or the father did it and now he's trying to like frame the children so he's abusing the children that way. I don't know, just the whole mystery father thing and the fact that Ty has gotten no screen time. We know literally nothing about him. We
Yeah.
know a little more about Bobo's the comic relief and he's got popcorn
In a
and
funeral, and he has got a mom with no foot.
he's got a mom with no foot. He's got dick pics on the internet. He's just
Yeah.
silliness is
Yeah.
what all we know about Bobo.
Yeah.
But we know less than nothing about Ty.
Yeah.
They're keeping him so secret that I started to really overthink it. And I'm like, is this
maybe,
Are they gonna bring Ty out of the woodwork at the final hour? I mean, I would
well,
kind of be
maybe
like,
they'll get, I hope they
really?
release, I hope we watch or get something out of those interrogation and interviews.
Yes, right. Next week.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
hoping. I'm hoping
We need to
that's
shed some light on
all that
this.
hard work wasn't for nothing.
Yeah. I think that Kimber, she plays the godmother in the piece in the death rattle, but I feel like we crossed her off the list long ago. But
Hmm.
oh, and that's another thing. The fact that Loretta didn't even bring up Ty as like a possible, when she's
That's
trying to
true.
just throw suspicion, she didn't even say Ty's name. Didn't
Hmm.
even put it in our thoughts. Where
Yeah.
Ty is like, forget about him. Just forget he exists.
Yeah.
They're burying him for a reason. Kind of like they're burying fucking Taubert for a reason.
Hmm.
We've gotten so little of him at this point. I'm like looking at my watch here, episode 8. We have no clue about Taubert. And there is that devil horn. He was
Hmm.
framed with those devil horns.
Hmm.
It wasn't that subtle, but maybe some people
I
didn't.
I saw it, but nope. Nope. Don't trust him. No
He,
Toblerone.
yeah,
No Toblerone. Although Toblerone is delicious.
delicious.
And he's delicious too. He's very handsome. For you, Kara.
Yes.
But yeah. Oh, and also Cliff was wearing another wonderful vest this episode.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, when she was like, and now we have a cop here and a critic in the audience, and then Cliff just flaps his gigantic sleeves, his billowing, ruffled white sleeves. You know that Wesley Taylor was just like, if they're going to put me in this costume, I'm going to do something with it. And he
He's
just
like,
went
I'm
for it.
gonna work. He's gonna
Yes.
work with that.
Something else that I wanted to bring up there. Well, okay. Some themes that we've seen. The sibling rivalry theme has come up, and I didn't even mention it when it happened, but there was that gypsy reference that Howard gets "Sing Out, Louise,"
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
that's totally like a play about two siblings.
Mothers and
Yeah,
mothers.
and a stage mother, yeah, an overbearing stage
Hmm.
mother, and loving one sibling more than the other. One is more
Hmm.
talented, hogs the spotlight.
Yep.
So I thought that that was a cool connection.
Very, very true.
And another theme is this lighthouse, like beacon of hope
Hmm.
theme. And then the Statue of Liberty, which is kind of like a lighthouse, maybe liberation. There was a video that was put up by another YouTube channel, Screen Something. They do great work. You should totally check out
Was
their,
it Screen Rant?
not Screen Rant, it was Screen Something.
Okay.
But they brought up that the Statue of Liberty, Loretta is that beacon of light for Dickie,
Hmm.
right? Like Loretta is
Yeah.
very compared to this lighthouse, but and so they brought up that Loretta is seen wearing the same colors as the lighthouse that's right behind her in the table read. She's wearing white and red, and then there's like a clear lighthouse that looks exactly the same colors right next to her. And
I
then
love that.
the first outfit that we see Donna wearing is this black and white striped look. And in that first Death Rattle poster, it's just black and
Yeah.
white like stripes. So
That's very
our
striking. Yeah, that
mothers compared to lighthouses, I don't think that that's an accident.
no, I don't think so either. I like that.
And then there's this theme of wearing masks that I keep bringing up from all these play references, like people putting on an act that's contrary to who they truly are. They're like putting on a facade. And cobras, right? They
Hmm.
shed their skin. Shedding layers could be shedding definitions of who we truly are, like what Theo
Yeah.
was saying, or it could be someone lying about who they really are. And I'm thinking like, who's lying? Who's the con artist? And I think it's probably got something to do with Ben because his personality is totally fabricated.
Hmm. Oh, 100%.
Like to the point
100%.
where it's not even like he was a naturally always late person. He like made himself, he set his watch
So
back
he could be
so that,
late.
yeah, so that he could be that guy.
Hmm.
It's like, you
I,
know,
I mean, a lot of his personality kind of came out when Oliver was kind of coaching him, like when he was doing his that work in his dressing room.
yeah.
Like he was a very insecure, nervous, kind of like, I don't want to say misunderstood. He still was he was a jerk, but like there was a lot of things that, he masked himself, as you could say, like in over the top, over like obnoxious, like the who farted, like who does that? Nobody
Yeah, he was
serious would do
trying
that.
way too hard.
Hmm. Yeah.
But there's another poster that we see. this 6 degrees mediocre college poster. We really started to see it a lot this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that comes to my mind is 6 Degrees of Separation, which is a play by David Guerre. And it's all about, it was made into an amazing film with Will Smith and Stockard Channing. Check it out. It's such a good film. And it explores like classism and the disparity between the generations and the classes and how easy it is to fool people into thinking that you're someone else with just a charming facade. And it's all about this confidence trickster who comes into these people's lives and spouts all of this nonsense about who they really are. And it's all a lie. And they just weasel their way into these people's lives and totally take advantage. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with Death Rattle. It says 6 degrees mediocre college in this poster. And I just don't know what that could possibly mean. Obviously, it's not a real play. I looked it up. In the play poster, though, there's all these little like hammers at the bottom of the poster. I just do not know how this could possibly be significant. But 6 Degrees of Separation also has this, what that whole 6 degrees of separation, what it means is there's a theory that everyone on this planet is bound together, and by you can connect everyone to everyone else by just a trail of 6 people.
Yeah.
Which I find very crazy to think about. And if this could be proven to me, I'm sure it's been proven, but this just seems crazy.
We could connect ourselves, like we're connected through, like,
yeah,
Jason and all, like, there's ways of doing that.
yeah.
I buy it.
It's a small world,
It is indeed
for a reason. Yeah. So now then my brain is going to these places like, is that mean 6 murderers? Is it like, multiple murderers? I still really, really would love there to be 3 murderers. I think that would be awesome. Just to have it nice and neat and make sense. Please let this be.
It would be very cool.
Oh, one other note that I wanted to bring up is that I looked up a couple of words, name meanings and stuff after things started to come up about the DeMayo's last name meaning falling or failing. And I was like, I wonder what gooseberry means. It means third wheel. It's obviously like a little green sour berry, but it also is British slang. It says an extra person who's present when 2 other people, such as lovers, want to be alone together, used especially in the phrase to play gooseberry. Like, so you're third wheeling it with like on a date with people who especially are romantic together. Thought that was interesting.
I like that. All these 3s.
Yeah. Not for no reason. I really am thinking 3 killers, maybe it could be.
Or 3 murders.
Well, gosh. My goodness. You think?
We
only got 2 episodes left.
Yeah, but we had 2 murders in season 1, 2 murders in season 2. Technically 2 murders in season 3, but
wait, who's the other person who died in this season?
Well, Ben died twice.
Oh, right. I was like, wait, what?
And now technically he really did, because there's a toxicology report that says he was poisoned. So
yeah,
maybe that was right. So
there's been a lot of talk about maybe there being another murder. Yeah.
So, and that was something, remember, I keep on going back, but when Ben came in saying that the hospital said he was dead, and that they're like, and when he said, like, isn't that right, Diggy? He's like, well, that's not what they said. I'm wondering what was said, but just again, like, just kind of tying in like what had happened and who is that person that called. I think
that person that called.
Also, because his tone changed. He's like, oh, I gotta go take this. Like, he like turned the douchebag off, and he really changed when he went into that. Like,
he talks in the third person. He says, Ben's got to take this.
Yeah. And he's going to go somewhere quieter, or it was, yep.
And also there's something that Oliver says in episode 1. He says, everyone gets opening night jitters. And I wonder if that's going to become more clear. Like, why was Ben just jittery and nervous because he just been punched in the face by Charles? Because that's what we're thinking now. And also I'm thinking that the reason that Ben was strangling Loretta is probably because Loretta was saying, Dickie, she cares for her son, and she's saying, get away from this guy who's treating you like shit. Because now I'm looking back on episode 1, like you were saying so differently, because she says Ben maybe a lot of, or what does she say? She's like, he may be back, but he's still a fucking asshole or something. Like she
Right,
really,
right.
it's because I think of her. The only reason I can think now is because that's her baby boy.
You're right, especially because like in the very beginning when Ben first meets her, he's nice to her. He's like, "Oh," but then he's like, "But don't upstage me." But then when they get to the party and the way he talks to her, if you get between two brothers, like that brotherly bond or
Yeah.
accused of somebody, then you're in trouble. And maybe that's what linked that to that fight that they had. Maybe that's what they were fighting about was Loretta saying something about how Ben mistreats Dickie or something. Maybe that's why they had that fight.
I'm like sure of it at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
That's totally because that's the name of Loretta's game. Get in this
Mhm.
show so I can be next to my baby boy. After this opening voiceover we got from Loretta, it's all about Dickie for her. It's all about
Mhm.
the love of Dickie.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think that she got into Oliver as well, thinking, oh, well, now the show's not going to happen, so maybe I can get a little
Gets hey.
something out of it, a little
Yeah.
romantic connection out of it too. But yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, it
don't
seems
I
like
don't I don't think there was any like ill intent towards Oliver. I think that just kind of that
no,
must have just happened.
Loretta's not nefarious.
Loretta
She's not the
Loretta
villain.
is a good she's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, she's a good egg.
Yeah.
Poor little, oh gosh, oh man, she got arrested. No, oh, I need the next episode to, I really need there to not be like a whole long thing with Oliver having a heart attack. I need him to just like get better really quickly.
I have a question. They still have not shown the wedding scene. Do you think maybe it was a fever dream or a heart attack dream?
I am thinking that the wedding scene is definitely going to be the ending wild thing that leads into next season's murder.
I like that. I
I
like
feel like
that.
we're going to maybe fast forward into the future if it's a real wedding for Mabel, or it could be a fever dream. I'm hoping it's a fever dream. I don't know
I
why. I
don't
just
want
don't want to see
I don't want to
Mabel
see
get
Mabel
married.
get well, I don't want to see her get married so soon. Like you gotta take some time.
The only way that I would be okay with Mabel getting married is if it's married to Theo and
Theo, definitely Theo.
they move into Sting's apartment
Oh God, I would love that. I would
and
love
get back
that so
because
much.
we got to get Mabel back in the building, right? Somehow.
I like
So
that.
how's she going to come into that amount of money? I mean, Theo's got daddy's money.
Hmm.
He's got that what is it, Gray Robin money?
What's the name of
A
their
Gray Robber or Gray Roger.
no, but what's their dips? Oh my God. I want
It's just called Demas chicken wraps,
That's
right?
it. Demon's
Demas
Chicken Wrap.
dips.
Demon's Dips. Yeah, that's true. I think that's
Yeah.
still no one's given that up.
Yeah, those chicken wraps can pay for Sting's apartment, I think, for
Hmm.
Mabel and Theo. I'm
Yeah.
shipping it. I
I
would be here for that. If Mabel
yes.
has to get married to anybody, I would prefer she just stay single and afford Sting's apartment some other way, but I don't know how.
I would love that.
unless
I would love
unless
that.
she becomes the next Cinda Canning.
I would like that too. I would like that
That would
too.
be awesome.
I'm not putting Sydney I know I really loved Kara's thoughts on that and I started thinking about it. I hope that her episode was not like a one-off, like just like, oh, this is a cameo for Cindy Canning. I'm hoping like there is some tie-in because I still think like she could possibly be involved in Butthead up here. But also I kind of like, oop, I'm like so backwards up here. Donna, she's over there. Who knows? We'll see.
Yes, if you're not watching the video, Erica is
I'm
pointing to her murder board behind it's her
murder
background.
board, murder board.
I can point to who's on my murder
You
board
got
right
Tom
now.
Petty.
It could be Tom Petty. He's a suspicious one. It could be
Yeah.
Peter Frampton. Peter
Yep.
Frampton. Look at him.
Yep.
Look at that
Yes. He's like, yeah.
murderous face.
Yes. Yes.
Dennis Joplin. Murderer.
There's a lot of dead people on your wall, but that they're all wonderful geniuses.
Yep. Wall of
Love them
genius.
all. Love them all. Ugh.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's so great.
Ugh.
Okay, so any predictions for the next episode aside from Mabel maybe getting back into the Arconia because they're getting married to Jay? That's another thing. I really need to see more James Caverly because I just got to shout out how amazing he is. I feel like I didn't talk about it enough when Theo showed up before, but like James Caverly is just such a great actor, and
I
there's something
agree.
about him that
He lights up the screen. He really does. He's so
yeah,
I love him. He
to
really
be a deaf actor. And I don't want to make it a thing about like, oh, he's great because he's deaf and he can act. No, like for
no.
any actor though, like to be that subtle and to know when to really, really use that emotion and to really pull it back. Like he played some major ball with Nathan Lane.
Oh my
You know,
God.
he just matched him right there in that, and that's just so
That
difficult as a young actor.
episode 8 of season 1, and this episode, another 8. Oh my God. I just realized this was episode 8 too.
That's
Oh,
right.
oh,
Good
oh,
call.
oh, they really know.
They know.
They know episode 8s are like, they're the money shots. Oh my God. So good. Yeah, but
Eight is a good number.
I agree with you. Like, I was watching, it's with Michael Cera Creighton, the after show, and he was on this past week, and he just
Yeah, yeah.
was wonderful. And
I
he's sitting there
know.
with Will. I'm like, the actor that plays Will, and I'm like, oh God, I was so happy he was on. I think I cheered and clapped when he was on, and we weren't
Yeah.
expecting it. So yes, I agree with you. Love him.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, they can get married just because that would make Theo a regular next season, you know? And I'm like, bring it
Mhm.
on. Because I was truly thinking about it today when I was like taking notes and organizing everything for the podcast. I was like, the only other person I can think of that I would be okay with joining our trio and making it like quad a
Quad.
quad,
Yeah.
yeah, would be Theo. He's the
Mhm.
only person I would be like, okay, you can join. That's cool.
Yeah.
'Cause I love him.
Howard could be like a special guest. I love him,
Yes.
but he's
Yes. So, okay,
he's a lot of work.
next episode, I need to see Howard get on that podcast. I need to see his guest appearance on the pod, and I
Mhm.
need more Theo. I want the next episode to fucking be narrated by Dickie. I need to know what Dickie is hiding.
I think we
Oh,
will.
and
Yeah.
Paul let me know something. So that TikTok video that you were referencing, I mean, not TikTok video, I was referencing it last podcast with Mabel in the wedding dress, the behind the scenes TikTok that was filmed. I put it up on our last podcast, and I will link it again in this one in the description. So Steve Martin comes running out of the Arconia, and they're putting Mabel into a taxi, and he was waving a piece of paper, and he says something about a phone number, and Paul watched it and texted me. He's saying, I got BB Newworth's phone number. I don't know
Oh,
how this ties in. I don't know how this
oh,
is, but are we going to see some
oh.
BB Newworth? Because that would just be, I
Well,
mean,
well,
come on.
that would be a tie-in to Chicago.
Right. Yes. Getting so much. So
I want all the musicals all the time.
I'm
All the
hoping
musicals all
for
the
it.
time. Give me
I
some.
know. I know.
Where's Patty LaPone? Come on.
Oh,
Come on, bring
yes.
him, bring him.
Bring them all in. Seriously, though,
Oh
I mean,
God.
that's so I think that that's coming, and that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Not that's it kind of a spoiler, but there's nothing to it. It's just BB Newirth. That's what he's. And now when I watch it back, I'm like, oh, clearly, because I was like, what is he saying?
Yeah.
Whose phone number? It's like I can't make out the words, and then Paul's like, he's saying BB Newirth. I'm like, oh, you're so right.
I'm gonna watch it.
All right, well, I think that we've did it for this episode. What you think about getting into my favorite delicious after dinner snick snack paddywhack?
I am starving.
Bring on the feed crack. I was just losing my high. I was starting to come down from last week. And you brought it on. We have some feed crack, so let's get into it.
Yay.
All right, so let us get into it. And our first little piece of feed crack is our delicious Apple Podcast review. I don't know why I said delicious. I mean, it's delicious. It's delectable to me. It's a 5-star review from our beautiful patron, Lori. It's entitled Wine Bar Roundtable with Friends. I just love these podcasters, Kara, Jade, and Erica. Every episode is just like meeting up with your besties after having watched the new episode of a show that you love. These gals go in depth on more than just the story, plot lines, and possibilities. They talk about characters, the actors, the performances, the outfits, the sets, the Easter eggs, all of the things about this show that bring us joy. They also listen to and love their fans, and they're perfectly willing to reconsider their positions after having received fan input. Love, love, love. My goodness gracious. Thank you, Lori. I just can't.
Thank
I
you,
can't.
Lori.
Thank you so much for writing this. I mean, everything that you say, I hope is true. I hope that everyone finds this to be true. Thank you. Wow, it's overwhelming. Thank you.
I know
So
now.
sweet.
We should crack some wine open. All
Yes.
right.
That's like one of the nicest reviews we've ever
It was
gotten.
very, very sweet. Thank you so much.
Oh, and then I
Yeah.
also want to say Liz Todd last week wrote an email to us, and she said something about Joy she shoved the adorable cakes into Charles' chest. And as I was editing the episode, I did not realize that she was referencing the line adorable cakes from Susie saying that is an adorable cake in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And I was like, how did I not hear that when I first read it on the podcast? It's so funny. Sometimes when I'm editing, I hear things differently. And I'm like, how did I not pick up on that when it was said on the podcast? So
This is live podcasting. It's like live
yes,
theater.
live theater.
No rehearsals at all. That's awesome.
So
Thank you,
Liz,
Liz.
Liz, thank you for saying that last week. Sorry, I didn't catch it at the time.
Liz, you're an adorable cake too.
You're an adorable cake.
All right. So our next is an email from Terry Russo. The subject says Marvelous Murder Gals. And it was meant to be a compliment. I always like that old-timey word gal. Smart, fun, not a demure flower, but a young woman with personality strength, just like you. Oh, thank you, Terry.
You can call us gals anytime. We are
Yeah,
marvelous murder
that's awesome.
gals.
Yes, I love it. I own it. Okay. I think Donna is Dickie's mom. Mm. It's okay. We just you'll see soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, you'll
Don't
see
worry,
soon.
Terry. She barely tolerates her co-producer's son, who is younger than Dickie, like 5 years, maybe 10 years younger. I imagine a younger Donna simply not being interested in having children. I think Cliff knows. So Donna and Cliff know Dickie wrote the play. They want to support him. They have never liked Paul Rudd, but had to cast him to get the play done. They knew Martin Short wouldn't ask too many questions. I don't think Dickie knows who his mom is. And yes, that's true. He doesn't. I think Paul Rudd faked his on stage death for the PR. It's a possibility. One, he was nervous about Teal.
That's what I was saying. I had that thought too. I did.
Yeah, and that could definitely be a possibility.
It still could be possible. Yeah.
There's a lot of things I've seen like kind of mentioned on the I'm not digging, but I've seen some people saying like, similar things like you, Terry. Two, he's kind of just an asshole. You're right. He is kind of. So I think Meryl Streep is related to Donna. The end card is from Cliff. Donna never thought much of her poor actress relative, sister, cousin, but Cliff looked up to her. She nurtured and validated the repressed artist Cliff, who she let dress up and dance whatever they spent time together. Actually, I like that. That's
me too. I like this.
That's a really nice narrative, like your backstory. That would have been really cool. She let him dress up and dance whenever they spend time together. You're right. There is definitely not like the love isn't coming from Donna towards Cliff with that part of his life. At some point, Donna disapproved and separated them. Cliff invited her to the audition. Who killed Paul? Well, who killed Ben? On stage, no one. He faked it. Tobert has that plan on tape. Dickie found out. He was upset when he thought his little brother died, stoned, caved, and told him the truth. Elevator push, Tobert. Probably an accident. He, like everyone, liked Dickie better than Ben Glenjerk. That's why he's hiding right next in front of Mabel. There it is. The first message is ever sent to a podcast. Oh, Terry, that's awesome. You gals inspired. Thank you. Love you, Terry in Texas. Terry, that was awesome. I loved your thoughts. I actually was thinking about, thank you. I was thinking about that whole Tobert thing. And I was thinking about Tobert. Maybe he possibly witnessed, just like how he witnessed the elephant. But I definitely agree with you. I think Tobert is a piece of poop. Anyway, thank you, Terry.
Yeah. And this whole thing about the aunt thing, that card on Loretta's refrigerator, I just don't know if it's going anywhere. I don't know if we'll ever hear more about it. Like the tattoos on switching on Ben's fingers. I mean, we had a great comment last week that I really hope explains it. Ben just being that kind of guy who wants everyone to think he's got his knuckles tattooed and he's faking it all. But yeah, there was something else. Paul Rudd faked his death. Yeah, I went into a lot of that last podcast, and I think it still could be possible. But now I'm leaning more toward this Donna and Dickie thing, that they are probably behind Ben's death. Yeah, I'm thinking it's Donna, Dickie,
or Donna, Cliff.
Sorry, did I say Dickie? I meant Cliff. Donna, Dickie, and I mean, fuck, I keep saying Dickie, not Donna, Dickie. Jesus,
it's all because you don't say Donna Dixon.
Good Lord, all these names. Donna, Cliff, and Tobert. I think they are the three behind the death. My opinion. I don't know. It would be cool if Paul Rudd was faking his death, because that death does look suspicious. It looks very stagey. There's something about it when you watch it. Maybe I've just watched it too many times though, trying to figure it out.
We have watched it multiple times.
Multiple. And
Terry,
then multiple after that.
Yeah, and Terry, write to us this week too, because we want to hear what you think now that they've revealed some more information.
Yeah, now that we know for sure who Dickie's mother is. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you so much, though. Seriously, I love that you are the first. That's the first message you sent to a podcast. I feel
Yay.
honored. Okay, next is from Kimberly, our marvelous patron. She says, "Hi, ladies. After looking into a few things, I realized that rattle isn't necessarily a baby's rattle. The definition of rattle can also mean it could cause someone to feel nervous, worried, or irritated. A rapid succession of short, sharp, hard knocking sounds like the rattle of a teacup on the tray, the gurgling sound of a person's throat when they're dying, like Kara was saying, the death rattle sound, and a baby's toy. And as a noun, she says it has to do with snakes. The set of horny rings at the end of a rattlesnake's tail, horny rings,
Mm.
shaken with a dry buzzing sound as a warning. So yes, this is a very good point, and I can't believe I overlooked it. Snakes,
Mm-hmm.
rattlesnakes, duh.
And also Ben calls Meryl, or not Meryl, Ben calls Loretta a snake in episode 1.
Yes,
So there's a lot
yep,
of snakes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole snakes shed their skin,
Mm-hmm.
either shedding labels, or it could be, like I said, wearing a mask or a costume of some kind. She says there seems to be a lot of door rattling. Charles is stuck in the broom closet before the fog comes in. That's true. He does rattle that door. Everyone is a little nervous and rattled. She said Matthew Broderick owes Cliff for something. It took me
Mm-hmm.
another watch to realize that Charles was imitating the ending of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yes, I can't believe I didn't catch this when I watched the episode. Yeah, you're absolutely right. When he says, "You're still here? Go, just go." She says with the hand gestures, like when Ferris breaks the fourth wall at the end of the film. Yep, I totally didn't catch that. A
Love
shame.
that you picked that up.
Yeah, that was good. She said handkerchiefs. Ben gave handkerchiefs as a gift. I looked up the symbolism of a gift like that. A handkerchief is considered a gift of parting, and so if given, it is often assumed that you are saying goodbye forever. That is an old-fashioned way of looking at a handkerchief. Yes, like waving
Hmm.
the handkerchief to say farewell. That is true.
Yeah.
Yes. And she also sent us the name, the Glenroy name origin meaning. Glenroy is a gender neutral given name and surname of Scottish and Jamaican origin. Scottish and Jamaican.
That's
So random.
interesting. Yeah.
Two cultures seem so unrelated, but yeah. Okay. Deriving from the place name of Glenroy in Scotland. Glenroy is a beautiful nature reserve featuring the geological phenomenon of 3 lock terraces known as the parallel roads of Glenroy.
Hmm.
3 again. Interesting. Okay, well, I will say this. I don't know how much the name meanings come into it because in interviews with John Hoffman, he said we had to pick the Ben Glenroy name because they have to when you write a TV show, you have to go through name like trials, and if there can be anyone found living in like the state of New York, for example, named Ben Glenroy, then you can't use that name because it puts you up like in the line of fire for like a lawsuit, maybe if someone wants to say
Gotcha.
you're writing about me, like the coincidence is
Mm-hmm.
too great and that's, you can't use my story or something. So they have to they send their scripts to these people to like check them, and they always look at names and see. And so they basically went with Ben Glenroy, and John Hoffman said, as like a 6th or 7th option.
Wow.
So it wasn't their first choice. So I don't know that is going to play into it all, but I don't know about
I
the name.
appreciate the origin of it. That's really neat.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's good to know, but John Hoffman did say that. I don't know if this is the same thing for Cliff and Donna's name, the DeMeo name meaning, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. So Kimberly, thank you so much for always being amazing and just she brings it. Kimberly brings it with the feed crack. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
here.
Always.
Number 1 feed cracker.
All right. So our next email is from Hope, and the subject says season 3, episode 5. Who is Moriarty? Hey,
And
everyone.
Hope, I apologize. I emailed about this. This is from last week or the week before. She sent us this, and I apologize. I forgot to include it. My bad. So we're gonna include it now.
We got you. All right. Hey, everybody. I attached a VM and a pic of the Reddit post I was referring to. Would love to hear who you all think the Moriarty is.
All right, let's give it a listen.
Okay, hey y'all, what's up? My name is
Hey,
Hope.
hey.
Something I'd love to hear y'all talk about in the next episode, or maybe you guys have addressed it already, I'm not sure. But the Moriarty theory. So, I mean, it's not even just a theory because if you have not seen it, John Hoffman has a Reddit account for Only Murders in the Building, and he really only used it to comment on season 2. So he hasn't commented on anything in season 3 with his Reddit account so far. But at the end of last season, he was talking about how there is going to be a Moriarty character reveal eventually. And as we know, in Sherlock, Moriarty doesn't actually do the killings, but he is pulling a lot of the strings, which is why I think it's interesting in your discussion of season 3, ep 5, how you guys are talking about near the end of the episode how the play Macbeth has to do with this woman pulling a lot of the strings for like murders that are going on in the play, or like nefarious things that are going on. And then you guys were talking about Loretta and the witchcraft, so maybe she's Moriarty, which honestly I'm the most invested in who Moriarty is. I thought it was Tobbert at first because my theory was the only reason he's listened to the trio's podcast is because it would compete directly with a documentary that he's making about like these same murders, right? And that's why he's trying to get close to Mabel and figure out her relationship with the olds, as she calls them, because he wants to take their podcast down. And he's the one in season 1 who left that note on Oliver's door and poisoned his dog. But could have also been Loretta. But I really want the Moriarty type to be Howard, just because I have no evidence to back that up. It's just that it would be the most fun if Howard was Moriarty, in my opinion. Once again, no evidence to back that up. And like you guys said, because he is the one who was dropping State Farm's name, I also very much doubt that he's going to be the murderer or the Moriarty type. But it would be fun. So yeah, would love to hear you guys discuss who you think Moriarty is. Any clues that you guys have noticed. Obviously the next time you guys will drop a podcast will be for season 3 episode 6.
And we missed including this.
We don't
I
know
apologize.
what's gonna happen. But yeah. Also, last comment I'm gonna say, really, really good information how you guys talked about how apparently some reviewers had accidentally spoiled the fact that Dickie is Ben's adopted brother. That was good information. I mean, I have been guessing that for a minute here because I think it's very obvious that Meryl Streep's his mom, or close family member in some way.
She called it.
I think it was Kara who said that Dickie's in the background of all those pictures in the scrapbook. So that was clear to me. But literally, like, my dad and I were watching the episode and we paused on every frame of those pictures and I was like, Dickie, he's in all of them, it's him. So yeah, super excited. Obviously I'm super obsessed with this show and glad to have found other people who are too. Thanks guys.
Thank you, Hope. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, Hope. I forgot to include that you've had to wait a while to hear this, and you're probably wondering, God, why are they such jerks?
We'll give her all the sparkles. That was really great though, because even though that was a few episodes back, like we've had a lot of the things that she talked about, she's going to find out that she was right.
Yeah, right on. You were on it. As far as who this Moriarty character is, so if you guys don't know, Professor Moriarty is a fictional character and a criminal mastermind created by Arthur Conan Doyle to be the adversary for Sherlock Holmes. And he was basically created as a device to kill off Sherlock Holmes. Well, he kind of used him in that way. And then everyone was so pissed off. They were like, you can't kill Sherlock Holmes. So he had to resurrect him. So he pulled a Ben Glenroy. on Sherlock Holmes. But yeah, Moriarty is like the arch nemesis rival.
I think it's Cinda Canning. I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's Cinda Canning.
Kara would have said the same thing too.
Mhm.
I have a hard time thinking that Cinda Canning's coming back, but the more and more that we go into it, and the more it seems that Taubert has some kind of agenda and they're keeping him secret for some reason. He's really pushing that podcast, and so is Cinda Canning.
Mm-hmm.
That's their connection. I wouldn't be shocked. I would be a little. I don't know if I'd be bummed about it. For some reason, I just don't want it to be Cinda. That wouldn't be satisfying to me.
I don't think necessarily for this season. I think Cinda Canning is the big bad of the series. Like, I think she was in season 1, she was in season 2, she's in season 3, even though not much. I think Taubert, I still think Taubert is linked in somehow, whether it is between Donna or Cliff, but I think that, I feel like Taubert's more linked to Cinda Canning than he is Cliff and Donna. But if they did go that direction, I would be okay with it, because it would still make a little sense, just because of the way I think the story's going. But who do you think who do you think the Moriarty could possibly be?
I don't have a better suggestion other than Cinda Canning. I think as far as like arch nemesis goes, it only makes sense that it would be her, because she's got the other rival podcast and she can't have them surpass her. So it's either her or Howard. I think Howard's a great option.
I love Howard, but nah.
The thing about Howard is that I know, well, it would kind of be great though. I don't know. I wouldn't mind it, just to give Howard some juicy like scenery to chew, because Howard really wants to be on stage.
He'd be a great villain.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like with his, his pointed toe doing on when he's really getting into it. He does.
Oh my God.
He murder dances like Cliff.
So adorable.
Dances. So adorable. Because Howard wants to be on stage. He wants to perform, and the trio just won't let him. Like Mabel doesn't even want to let him on the podcast. So I could see it.
Well, he could always go to the dark side and go to Cinda Canning's podcast.
Ooh. Okay. I would be totally here for that. If Howard and Cinda teamed up. Yes. That would be awesome. Oh my God. Nailed it, Erica.
We'll see. We'll see. All right.
Oh man, this is great. I'm getting high. Here we go.
Oh. So we had 2 comments from season 3, episode 6, Ghostlight. The first one on YouTube. So this first one is from Summer Nasser. I have been under the assumption that Cinda Canning's character this season is making fun of Gwyneth Paltrow. 100%. That is some goop shit she's been talking. Absolutely.
Indeed.
She got in trouble for selling Jade eggs for in between the legs, and she claimed it cured health things that there is no significant proof for, as well as the whole vibe. This. Yeah. Also, that whole vibe reminded me of Gwyneth. That doesn't mean Cinda and Dickie aren't connected, though. Yeah, she was doing like steaming vaginas and all this other stuff, and people were like, what the hell? And she sells things like holistic things that are like thousands and thousands. It's made for very upper,
Yeah, I know about the goop conspiracy and everything. I don't follow it too closely, but that's really funny, the Jade egg connection. Because again, I see, this is why I firmly believe that that's not a connection, because I think it was an invention of Tina Fey just being an awesome improv artist.
It's a possibility,
but that's very funny. Yeah,
thank you, Summer.
Totally correct on that. Yep, thank you. Okay, and Doug Ferd says, I think I've cracked the refrigerator Aunt Loretta card shapes. The Merry Christmas Aunt Loretta note is written on the back, so the shapes are just letters going right to left and backward. It simply says Christmas on the flip side in artsy lettering. I mean, you could be right. You could be. I've looked at this shape so many times. I have got no idea what it is. I kind of hope that it would be my first idea. Christmas.
Cool.
Right? I mean, it says Merry Christmas on the card. Merry Christmas Aunt Loretta. So I don't know.
Thank you hopefully, for doing all that.
Yeah. Hopefully, Doug Ferd, you were correct in that.
Absolutely. All right. And then this is a comment from Muffy0525 from season 3, episode 7, Cobra. Paul Rudd was credited for appearing in the episode because there are pictures of Ben at the silent auction. The actor who plays Dickie was also credited for appearing in episode 5 because he appeared in the pictures from Loretta's notebook, despite not acting on screen like Paul in episode 7. Thank you, Muffy.
Nailed it. Yes, we were wondering why Paul Rudd was credited when Ben did not appear in the episode, because as far as I could tell, that wasn't happening ever when Meryl Streep was involved. So, but there's no pictures of Meryl Streep we see, but we do see pictures of Ben. Good call. Thank you so much, Muffy, for bringing that to my attention.
Awesome.
JT says, I think the cutout word in the Aunt Loretta Christmas card looks like Cobra. I mean, maybe. To me, it doesn't look like anything. I hope it's Christmas or Cobra. There's definitely a C in there, a C and an O, maybe a B too. That's all I can make out.
It's too much. All right, Sharia
So
Cole 7114. Hi, Jade, Karen, Erica. This was great.
Hi.
Hello. I love listening to all your theories. I was so fixated on them bringing up Lucy in the first episode of the season and then never mentioning her again. However, listening to Jade discuss Agatha Christie, it's probably just another throwaway line that probably doesn't come up again.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Taubert is most definitely working for Cinda. Him bringing up Bloody Mabel and his recording equipment just screams Cinda to me. I agree. So I think Taubert is working for Cinda, and maybe Ben found out. They argued about it, and Ben fell, and Taubert, like the elephant, just stood there and watched him fall to death. I agree with you. I think
Sherry Nicole you nailed it last week. You and JT are on it, always on it. Yes,
that makes sense. And he was the only one that wasn't at the party, right?
Yes, he was not at the party. Kara said he was in one of our episodes, and I was like, I haven't checked. And Kara was like, no, he was there. He just didn't have a camera. And I'm like, no, he was not there. He was not at that party. Yeah, that's why he's definitely. Damn it, Erica. It was your first guess, and I think that you might be right. I mean, whatever. It's not like a contest.
No, it's not a contest.
I was so very wrong. And I mean, okay, I knew Loretta was gonna. I knew that she was gonna do the false confession thing. I just thought that it was gonna be because she's protecting the murderer, and I don't think Dickie's the murderer.
Listen, so, you're so deep in pulling all that rich, amazing material from all those plays and posters and Easter eggs that
it's true. It's true.
It's okay.
I get a little bogged down in that. I do.
No. You're crushing it. You're totally crushing it.
Well, okay. Sharia Cole, you're crushing it because Taubert definitely working for Cinda and Ben found out and got pissed. I think that is so plausible.
I love it.
The plausibility just overfloweth.
Yep. I love that thought.
I like it too. Okay, Eric Crush says, I used to think that the 3 triplet babies was Dickie, Ben, and a Ben twin because one doll has blonde hair and one has a red mark on his face and the other has dark hair, no red mark. Wow, you really looked closely at that. I didn't even notice the hair thing. Okay, what if the no red mark, dark hair triplet baby symbolizes Cliff? Cliff and Donna's last name is DeMeo. See, this is where it is, which means descend or fall. And his first name is Cliff. Also, what if KT had something to do with Girl Cop? There was rat poison in her office and then the killer fog machine. They just mention Girl Cop so much. I don't know. I have so many theories. Maybe they all did have a part in Ben's death. Maybe. Love your content and your play knowledge. It really helps. Keep up the great work. Oh, thank you, Eric. Yeah, that rat poison is significant now that you brought that back up again too.
I agree.
And also rat poison is sweet. So if you put it in, isn't it? Like ants poison and rat poison.
I think I learned this from 9 to 5 when they confuse skinny and sweet and use rat poison in the coffee.
Oh my God, you're so gotta watch that movie again.
Yes.
Dolly.
I thought it was Skinny and Sweet. Oh God, that movie. Oh,
Dolly Parton.
That movie shaped me. That movie shaped me.
Yes, it totally did. I feel like it shaped me too.
To hate mean bosses and yep, damn. Yeah,
we get each other so much on like all of our references, Erica. We love everything the same. Oh, I love that.
Love it. There is nothing there's nothing in Facebook. So the last is we have Instagram from Snazdella. Oh, I like that name.
Snazdella.
This was a comment from I think last week. So it says, nope, not a twin in my option. And didn't Donna say that she breastfed Cliff until he was 8 or something like that? And we brought that up earlier.
This was on a post where I was asking if that I was saying, do you think that Ben or that Cliff and Donna are going to be actually related? Because wouldn't that be gross? And she says, and I was also asking about whether or not Ben was a twin. So you do not think Ben is a twin. I think you are correct. And yeah, the Donna breastfeeding Cliff until he was 8 thing, that was the reason that I thought Cliff could be related to Dickie because they both mention being 8 years old. Or I mean, sorry, Cliff and Ben both mentioned that they were 8 years old because Ben he references supporting his mother and his brother at 8 years old.
So
I was just thinking, I'm like, yeah, but now that you're saying it, like the breastfeeding thing, I mean, you're saying, Erica, it's possible
you
to
absolutely
breastfeed a child that's not your own,
Mhm.
right? So, because when Snaz Della here just put it so plainly, didn't Donna say that she breastfed Cliff until he was 8 or something? Like, pretty much case closed. That's his mom, right? It does seem like, well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I hope.
See.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I try to block that little
I know it's
statement out
just
of
so
my brain. It's
that's why
just gross.
I need them to not be related just because it's so weird and unexplained. And I wonder if they just did it to be funny, because in my opinion, kind of not that funny, kind of just more like ew, you know.
It's really gross. Really,
I feel like
makes
that's
me
the general
uncomfortable.
consensus with this Cliff Donna relationship too. Not a lot of people think it's like knee slappingly funny.
Incest
Kinda
is
just
not cute. Weird
Yeah.
relationships with mothers and sons. What is that? Oh my God, Adonis? Is that no, not Adonis. Oedipus, right? Oedipus, right? Which is the one, the son who killed his father because he was in love with his mother.
Oedipus.
Oedipus, my God, my brain.
My Siri just turned on the computer, so it cut out your sound, and I was like, "Stop it, Siri! I
You're
can't hear
fine.
Erica."
I
She's
just
asking
like
me a question.
I like threw in like 3 references that didn't go together because my brain's so tired. But yes, Oedipus complex, like, you know, where the son's in
Yeah.
love with the mother and the father was killed and there's no
Yeah,
dad.
there was
Oh.
there was also that
Yeah.
mention of Oliver saying he's going to gouge out his eye with a spoon or something, and that's what Oedipus did. So I want connections. I mean, see, this is where I go too far with my references. This is where I should stop reading plays.
Yeah, we're going in there. We're going in there.
I could just do it for days, you know. What
All
do you
day.
want from me?
All day.
Oh, what do you want from me, people? All right, next we have a voice message from Kimberly Rizzo. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to read this when I read her other feedback, so apologies. But here she is.
Yay, Kimberly.
Yes, more from Kimberly. Always
actually, it was a Kimberly sandwich.
There we are. There we
Yeah.
are. Who doesn't like a Kimberly sandwich?
I love a Kimberly sandwich.
Early in the evening, late in the morning. It's a good sandwich.
And FeedCRACK.
I think this is worth noting that I'm rewatching the scene with Matthew Broderick and Cliff and Donna and how they met during Hurricane Sandy and stayed at the Ritz for 2 weeks and said the minute Cliff called, he dropped everything. He would do anything for him. So that makes me suspicious that maybe they're covering up something that Matthew Broderick did. I don't know how that ties in with the new murder.
Hot takes.
That's something worth looking at.
I heard that too, and you know what? I think we just forgot to talk about it, but it's either a throwaway line to make it funny with Matthew Broderick, but you're right, like it was so weird.
It was weird. It's true. Yeah, that moment. I think it's another weird writing thing where it's like meant to be funny, and just, if it's not your humor, it's not your humor.
But no, we're super sleuths. We're taking everything as a clue.
Yeah, I know, right? You're supposed to, because when you don't, that's when the Jan happens. Because with Jan, I was thinking to myself, oh, no, but that is crazy. Don't go there, Jan. No, it's Jan. What? And then all of a sudden it was Jan. I was like, damn it.
It was Jan.
I didn't want to believe it. So sometimes you just have to go a bridge or two too far in this show to get to that theory. Because y'all, you know, they're going to drop a reveal on us that's just batshit. Like, we didn't see that coming. This show always does it. They're going to do. You know, even though I kind of knew it was Poppy, it was still a big like moment. It was great. They do reveals really well. So you have to expect the unexpected. Thank you, Kimberly. I also just love that Kimberly records her voice messages like during watching the episode, and she doesn't even pause it. Just like you can hear the music in the background. It just like sets the scene so nicely. It's immersive.
Immersive voicemails. Keep it up. Keep it coming.
Thank you, Kimberly, for the immersive experience, as always. That's it. That's all there is, people. We're all go home, go away. What are you still doing here? What? The show's over. Jesus. Oh, guys, listeners, I gotta stop saying guys. We have enjoyed this time with you so much. If you've enjoyed it, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Do it. It's such a small thing. Where'd you go?
Oh my God. Oh, good. You're still there. Give me a second.
Erica just lost power, y'all.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Listeners, what just literally happened was Erica her computer just went poop.
Bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah. And now you can only see me for some reason, but we can still hear her.
Yeah, I'm
So
still here somewhat.
you still hear somewhat. So
Yep.
it'll just be my face and Erica saying goodbye to everybody. Because literally the only thing we have to do right now is sign off this damn bitch. So
Yes.
as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by Erica's power outage situation.
Half power outage. It went out
Jesus.
and off. Oh my God.
What a wackadoodle night.
Oh my goodness.
Wackadoodle.
Yep.
All right. So if you like the video, if you liked our shit, if you like what's going on here, then please like the video, whack and slap and get permission, get consent, and spank those naughty 5 stars and that subscribe button. It's a very small thing that just takes like 2 little milliseconds of your life, and it helps us immensely. So if you even cracked a smile while listening to our nonsense, then just, do one of those things, if not all 3. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh my
Erica,
gosh.
tell them.
Yes. We love to hear your thoughts on episode 9. So write to us, leave us a voice message, tell us who you think the murderer is, give us all your theories and your most marvelous moments. Please
tell us. Please do it. Tell us who you think the murderer is. We're getting down to the wire here, guys. We gotta know what you think. And the FeedCRACK has been excellent. So please keep Jade high. Look how high I am. I'm floating.
Yes.
It's great. You can email us at perfectlymarvelouspodcast@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Instagram at perfectlymarvelouscast, or you can join our Only Perfectly Marvelous Murders in the Building Facebook group. All the links in the description, as well as my Instagram, Jade the Naked Lady, all one word, or TikTok, Jade8Green, the number 8, as we've been saying, a great number.
Yes.
That's the day I was born. Now you know.
Yeah. Come back next time for our review of season 3, episode 9, the penultimate episode, 30.
Yes. Babe, my babe. I can't see you, but I can see you in my mind's eye. Up until I lost you and couldn't see your beautiful face anymore, I had a marvelous time talking with you. And listeners, gorgeous listeners, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Jade.
Which of the Pickwick triplets did it?
Which of the spawn had the brawn to kill?
Will the baby get tried for mattress side?
A coochie coochie coo. Time for you to admit it. So quick as a whip, gotta pick which Pickwick triplet did it.
So quick gets a whip. Oh my God. So quick gets a whip, gotta pick which Pickwick triplet did it. I totally messed that up.
We got it. We nailed it.
Oh my God. Well, look, if it took Charles that long to get it, I'm not good at patter songs.
You are great at patter songs, Erica. What are you kidding me? That was delightful.
Oh, you're delightful. I am so